Welcome back to another chilling episode. Tonight we delve into two disturbing true horror stories that happened when people were alone at night. Lock your doors, turn off the lights, and prepare to be disturbed. Make sure you're not alone while watching this. The shadows are listening. Our first story takes us to a quiet suburban neighborhood, a place where families gather and children play, but tonight, darkness has seeped into the picture-perfect facade. The once lively streets are now eerily silent, the only sound the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Imagine this. You're home alone, lights low, the comfort of your couch your only companion. The familiar surroundings now seem foreign, shadows stretching and shifting in the dim light. The silence is broken only by the steady ticking of the grandfather clock inherited from your grandparents. Its rhythmic pulse, a reminder of time passing, each second drawing you closer to the witching hour. Midnight approaches, the hour when the veil between the known and the unknown is thinnest. The clock's hands inch closer to 12, each tick amplifying the tension in the room. You reach for your mug, drawing warmth from the herbal tea, hoping it will calm your nerves. The steam rises, curling into the air, a fleeting comfort in the growing unease. Trying to ignore the growing sense of unease that has settled upon you, the feeling is almost tangible, a weight pressing down on your chest. You tell yourself it's just your imagination, the result of that last scary movie you shouldn't have watched before bed. But the fear is persistent, gnawing at the edges of your mind. The images from the movie replay in your head, each scene more vivid than the last. You try to shake them off, but they cling to your thoughts, feeding your anxiety. But deep down, a primal fear begins to stir. It's an instinctual response, a survival mechanism from a time when humans were prey to unseen predators. A floorboard creaks in the hallway. The sound is sharp, cutting through the silence like a knife. You freeze, your blood turning to ice in your veins. You freeze, your blood turning to ice in your veins. Every muscle in your body tenses, your senses on high alert. You listen intently, your senses on high alert. Silence, the house seems to hold its breath, waiting. Maybe it was just the house settling. An old house like this was bound to have its quirks. You try to convince yourself, but the doubt lingers. An old house like this was bound to have its quirks. The creaks and groans are just the house's way of settling into the night, you tell yourself. You take a deep breath, trying to calm your racing heart. The air feels thick, each breath a conscious effort. Then you hear it again, a soft, almost imperceptible thud. It's faint, but unmistakable, a soft, almost imperceptible thud. This time there's no mistaking it. The sound is real, and it's coming from inside the house. This time there's no mistaking it. It came from your bedroom. Your mind races, conjuring up images of masked intruders and malevolent entities lurking in the shadows. It came from your bedroom. The place that should be your sanctuary now feels like a trap. Your mind races, conjuring up images of masked intruders and malevolent entities lurking in the shadows. Every horror story you've ever heard comes rushing back. You slowly rise from the couch, your bare feet padding silently across the hardwood floor. Each step feels like a journey, the distance to the bedroom door stretching endlessly. Your bare feet padding silently across the hardwood floor. The cool wood underfoot is a stark contrast to the heat of your fear. Your hand trembles as you reach for the antique candlestick on the mantel, its weight surprisingly reassuring in your grasp. It's a relic from another time, a connection to the past. Its weight surprisingly reassuring in your grasp. The cold metal is a reminder of reality, grounding you in the present moment. You creep towards the bedroom door, each step filled with a growing sense of dread. The hallway seems to stretch on forever, the door a distant goal. Each step filled with a growing sense of dread. The air is thick with tension, every sound amplified in the silence. With bated breath, you push open the door, the candlestick held high, your heart pounding in your chest. The door creaks open, revealing the darkness within. your heart pounding in your chest. Each beat echoes in your ears, a drumbeat of fear. The room is shrouded in darkness, the only light coming from the street lamp casting eerie shadows on the wall. You scan the room, your eyes struggling to adjust to the low light. The only light coming from the street lamp casting eerie shadows on the wall. You scan the room, your eyes struggling to adjust to the low light. The shadows seem to move, playing tricks on your mind, your eyes struggling to adjust to the low light. And then you see it, a figure huddled in the corner, its back to you, and then you see it. A figure huddled in the corner, its back to you. The shape is indistinct, blending with the shadows. A figure huddled in the corner, its back to you. Your breath catches in your throat and you grip the candlestick tighter, its cold metal digging into your palm. Your breath catches in your throat and you grip the candlestick tighter, its cold metal digging into your palm. The figure remains still, an ominous presence in the room, and you grip the candlestick tighter, its cold metal digging into your palm. You whisper, your voice barely audible, "Who's there?" The figure doesn't move, its cold metal digging into your palm. You whisper, your voice barely audible, "Who's there?" The figure doesn't move. The silence is deafening, each second stretching into eternity. You whisper, your voice barely audible, "Who's there?" The figure doesn't move. You take a step closer, your voice trembling. I said, "Who's there?" The figure remains motionless, an ominous silhouette against the wall. You take a step closer, your voice trembling. I said, "Who's there?" The figure remains motionless, an ominous silhouette against the wall. The tension is unbearable, your mind racing with possibilities. An ominous silhouette against the wall. You raise the candlestick higher, ready to strike. Suddenly the figure turns and you gasp in horror. It's a man, his face hidden in the shadows, his eyes glinting menacingly in the darkness. He lunges at you, his hand outstretched. You raise the candlestick higher, ready to strike. Suddenly the figure turns and you gasp in horror. It's a man, his face hidden in the shadows, his eyes glinting menacingly in the darkness. He lunges at you, his hand outstretched, and you gasp in horror. It's a man, his face hidden in the shadows, his eyes glinting menacingly in the darkness. He lunges at you, his hand outstretched, his face hidden in the shadows, his eyes glinting menacingly in the darkness. He lunges at you, his hand outstretched. You scream and swing the candlestick with all your might, his eyes glinting menacingly in the darkness. He lunges at you, his hand outstretched. You scream and swing the candlestick with all your might. You scream and swing the candlestick with all your might. The room erupts in chaos, the shadows dancing wildly as the struggle ensues. Our second story takes us to a desolate stretch of highway where the only sound is the wind whistling through the trees lining the roadside. The night is pitch black, with only the faint glow of the moon providing any light. The air is thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant howl of a coyote. The pavement stretches out before you like an unbroken ribbon of black, illuminated only by the dim headlights of your car. The road seems endless, a never-ending path that leads you deeper into the unknown. It's late, you're tired, and you just want to get home. The day's events have left you drained, and the monotony of the drive is starting to take its toll. Your eyes feel heavy, and you find yourself blinking more frequently, trying to stay awake. But fate, it seems, has other plans for you tonight. The road ahead holds a mystery, one that will change your life forever. You see her standing on the side of the road, a lone figure bathed in the pale glow of your headlights. She appears almost ethereal, like a ghostly apparition materializing out of the darkness. She's young, maybe in her early 20s, with long dark hair and a backpack slung over one shoulder. Her presence is both unexpected and unsettling, a stark contrast to the emptiness of the road. She's wearing a white dress that seems to shimmer in the darkness, and she's holding her thumb out, her face etched with a mixture of hope and desperation. The dress, though simple, has an almost otherworldly quality to it, as if it doesn't quite belong in this time or place. You hesitate for a moment, your gut telling you to keep driving. The rational part of your mind screams at you to ignore her, to avoid any potential danger. There's something about her that seems off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It's an instinctual feeling, a primal sense of unease that you can't shake. But then you think about how late it is, how dangerous it is for a young woman to be out here alone at night. The thought of leaving her stranded gnaws at your conscience. You tell yourself you're just being paranoid and pull over to the side of the road. The decision feels both right and wrong, a conflict of emotions battling within you. You roll down the window and she steps closer, her face illuminated by the interior light of your car. Her features are delicate, almost fragile, and there's a vulnerability in her eyes that tugs at your heartstrings. She's even prettier up close, with large dark eyes and a shy smile. There's an innocence about her, a sense of purity that makes you want to protect her. "Thank you so much for stopping," she says, her voice soft and sweet. It's a voice that carries a hint of sadness, a melancholy that seems to echo in the night air. "My car broke down a few miles back, and I can't get a signal on my phone." Her explanation is simple, yet it adds to the mystery of her presence on this lonely road. "Could you possibly give me a ride to the next town?" Her request is reasonable, but it sends a shiver down your spine. You feel a chill run down your spine, but you ignore it. The logical part of your mind tells you that she's just a stranded motorist in need of help. "Sure, no problem," you say. "Hop in." The words come out more confidently than you feel. She smiles gratefully and gets in the passenger seat. Her presence fills the car, yet there's an odd sense of emptiness. As she closes the door, you notice something strange. There's no sound. The silence is deafening, an absence of noise that feels unnatural. No thud of the door closing, no rustle of fabric as she settles into the seat. It's as if she's not really there, a phantom occupying the space beside you. It's as if she's a ghost, her presence barely there. The thought sends a wave of fear through you, but you push it aside. You try to ignore the feeling of unease that's growing in the pit of your stomach and pull back onto the highway. The road ahead seems even darker now, the night more oppressive. "So where are you headed?" you ask, trying to make small talk. The silence in the car is unbearable, and you need to break it. "I'm on my way to visit my grandmother," she replies, her voice barely a whisper. There's a sadness in her tone, a sense of urgency that you can't ignore. She's not doing so well, and I wanted to see her one last time. Her words hang in the air, heavy with emotion. You glance over at her and your blood runs cold. There's something in her eyes, a depth of sorrow that seems almost inhuman. Her eyes are fixed on you, and they're filled with a sadness so profound, so ancient that it takes your breath away. It's as if she's seen things, experienced pain that no one should ever have to endure. You look away quickly, focusing on the road ahead. The intensity of her gaze is too much to bear. You step on the gas, eager to reach the next town and drop her off. The sooner you can end this strange encounter, the better. The miles tick by in silence, the only sound the hum of the engine and the wind whistling through the open window. The tension in the car is palpable, a heavy weight that presses down on you. You steal another glance at your passenger and your heart leaps into your throat. She's gone, vanished into thin air. The seat beside you is empty, as if she was never there. You slam on the brakes, the car skidding to a stop on the side of the road. Your mind races, trying to comprehend what just happened. You check the back seat, even though you know it's pointless. She's gone. The realization hits you like a ton of bricks. You sit there for a moment, your heart pounding in your chest, trying to make sense of what you've just experienced. The night feels colder, the darkness more oppressive. Was she real, or was she something else entirely? The questions swirl in your mind, each one more unsettling than the last. You'll never know for sure. The mystery of the vanishing hitchhiker will haunt you for the rest of your days. But one thing is certain, you'll never forget the night you picked up the vanishing hitchhiker. The memory of her will linger, a ghostly presence in the back of your mind, a reminder of the unknown that lurks in the shadows. Thank you for watching. We hope you found these tales as thrilling as we did. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Subscribe for more spine-chilling content that will keep you on the edge of your seat. And remember, always stay vigilant, especially when the night is at its darkest. The darkness holds secrets, and sometimes it's best not to know what lurks within. Keep your senses sharp and your wits about you. Until next time, sleep tight if you dare. Sweet dreams.